Hello, great people out there. My name is Wilson Motoa. This is Impact Initiative. Now, did you know that some of the things that you need is not necessarily money? Sometimes what you need is not just money. You need more than money. Of course, some people may argue and say that money answers all things according to the Bible. But not every time you have a need that you need money. Sometimes what you need is not money. You need something more than money, or you need more than money. In Acts chapter 3 and verse 1 there is this layman who was sitting at the beautiful gate, and Peter and John came at 3 p.m. to pray. And this man, as usual, expecting to be given money, he looked at Peter and John eagerly, expecting some money. And Peter told him, well, today it's not about money, because I know your real need. What you need is not money, because even I don't have silver and gold. I'm just paraphrasing. But what I have is what I'm going to give you. And he told him, in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk. So this man's need was not money, though he expected at first money from Peter and John. And looking at him intently, he was expecting some money from these preachers or these apostles. But that this day was different. It was a different day. You know, there are many things or other things that people can give you, different forms of giving. Some people, if they give you their connections, you'll be done. Some people, if they just connected you their friends or their networks, that will really solve your problem once and for all. If they just connected you with some people out there, or they just give you access to their systems or networks, that will really solve your problems forever. And so it is important to understand sometimes what you need is not money. So your expectation should be different. You should always think outside the box. Because this man, when he came to Peter and John, when he saw Peter and John, his expectation was, as usual, money, money. But Peter told him, no, today there is a different thing I'm going to give you. And you see, whatever Peter did solved his problem once and for all, because he never went back there to the beautiful gate to beg. It solved his problems because he rose up, he could walk. This man could go out there and work for himself, work with his own hands, and this removed dependence. The things that when people do to you, they remove a sense of dependence, because if you continue the status quo, you will remain dependent on certain people or certain systems. In 2 Kings chapter 4 and verse 1 there is this woman who came to Elisha, the man of God, and whose husband was a member of the prophetic team of Elisha, and of course he was deceased. Now this day the debtors had come, the auctioneers had come, and they wanted to take her two sons as slaves so that the debt could be repaid. And she cried out to Elisha. And when Elisha asked her, what can I do for you? She explained the story and her issue. It was socioeconomic in nature. And Elisha advised her what to do. She was told, what do you have in your house? She said, I have nothing apart from a jar of oil. And what she was calling nothing, what she thought was nothing, what she saw as nothing, is the thing that Elisha used to solve her socioeconomic problems. This woman's need was not just about money. Maybe she may have expected to receive money from Elisha, I don't know. But this day was different because she needed her eyes to be opened. Elisha adjusted her sight and she began to see the resource within her reach, the resource at her disposal, the jar of oil, which she had thought, or which she thought was nothing, was the very thing or the starting point from where now Elisha would start, and she would resolve her problem for him, or solve her problem once and for all. She was told, go and borrow as many jars from your neighbors and start pouring oil. And the moment she poured oil into the last jar, the oil ceased She came back to Elisha and asked him, what do I do? I've done what you told me. She was told, go sell part of some of the oil, pay the debt, and use the rest to serve or to meet your needs with your son. And this resolved her problem or solved her problems once and for all. So basically, this woman did not need money from Elisha. She just needed to have her eyes opened, her sight and perception adjusted by the man of God. And there are many times we come to men of God, pastors, evangelists, teachers, prophets, expecting money from these men. Just like what Peter told this lame man, silver and gold I don't have, but I will give you a resource that will deal with issue and fix your problem once and for all. You'll never come back here to beg again. And our expectation when we are interacting with these servants of God, with these men of God, whether they are pastors or spiritual leaders, should be different because they have something that they carry in themselves. They may not have silver and gold, but they have a resource, they have grace, and which thing we need to change our minds, to change our perception, to empower us in a way that will remove or will end this dependence that is so rampant among many Christians. And so today I want to challenge us today that our need, or sometimes what you need, is not money. Back to this widow. Her problem was socio-economic. Social because she was a widow, and being a widow, she was actually vulnerable. And social because the debtor wanted to take her 2 sons away, and she would be left without sons to support her or even to keep her company. And it was economic because there was a debt. It was financial in nature. She had a debt that the auctioneer was ready to auction her 2 sons to be slaves. And so today, most of those socioeconomic problems that we have as believers, they are actually not going to be resolved by just money. When we interact with this man of God, when you sit there in your church to receive teachings, your pastor may not necessarily give you silver and gold, but he will give you grace, he will give you impartation, and your eyes will be opened to see things that you cannot be able to see. Your eyes will be open to see realities and even get connections that you could not get before. All you need is grace and impartation from this man of God. So change your perception, change your expectation today.